498 words about studying my own corpse in Helldivers 2. Published on my website, accordionsprout.com, 17th of October, 2024. I was fighting the Terminids by establishing a flagpole for Super Earth. Or maybe I was destroying an enemy propaganda tower. Or maybe I was destroying an automaton factory? It doesn't matter. Liberty was on the line, and I was ready to do my part for sweet democracy. I set up 2 turrets, made sure my guns were loaded, and prepared for the eventual assault. Sure enough, the enemies of freedom arrived in the form of a squadron of razor-armed automatons. Or maybe it was a cluster of Terminids. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Besides, questioning the historic records is treason anyway. The point is, I was ready for a fight, and sure enough, in just a few short bursts of my Liberator assault rifle, the vermin were nothing but masses of bloody slime on the dust. Or maybe it was oil. The onslaught didn't stop, however, and I still had 1 minute and 30 seconds before my evacuation, so the fight carried on. Or, at least it did before, to my shame, I allowed my own weakness in the form of a misthrown orbital strike to threaten prosperity. I watched my Helldiver collapse in defeat. I had failed democracy. There was no other explanation. Fortunately for Liberty, and unfortunately for the enemies of freedom, another Helldiver arrived to continue the fight. I killed the last wave and stood beside the evacuation zone, waiting. While I did, I looked down, and beside me was the body of the previous Helldiver who had perished. Face down in the dirt, smeared with blood, the body was a reminder of what I might have been, a threat to democracy and prosperity. As I considered her failure, I wondered about her. I wondered what her life had been leading towards, and if the choices she made were really her own. I wondered if she had considered the weight of her actions as she made a choice that led her to this place, this planet whose name I honestly couldn't remember. The destruction of her body, the end of her life, were parts of a greater conflict that at times were an endless repetitive series of victories. It was almost like a game. Studying the mess of gore that was now her person, I considered how many Helldivers had fallen to the Terminids and automatons, and how many had just as quickly risen up to assume their place. The endless charge to victory and glory was paved with bodies that preceded me and were now like the corpse beneath me. I shot a bug in the distance, killed it with 1 hit. Then I returned to studying the corpse. All this questioning was pointless, and, more importantly, treason against democracy. It didn't matter who she was. What mattered was I had made a 0.2% difference in the war effort. The death of Helldivers is an unfortunate reality in this endless fight, but liberty marches on, driven by those wise enough to avoid their own orbital strikes. Joshua Jammer Smith, 17th of October, 2024. Howdy, I'm Jammer. The Ministry of Truth has informed me that I'm allowed to make one small addendum, but just stick with the basics. If you appreciated this video, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. If you would like to help in the fight for democracy, as well as the fight to maintain my personal sense of self-esteem and possibly get us closer to the algorithm, please like, share, and subscribe, all that jazz. It really does help the channel, and more importantly, it increases the morale of Helldivers like me who are trying desperately to not accidentally throw orbital strikes right at their feet, unsuccessfully. But if you would also like to help the channel, there is a Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/jammerdraws. You can find it in the description section below, and there is 1 tier. That's right, there's only 1 tier, and it is $1 a month. So if you have $1 this month, or $12 this year, or if you'd like to do a one-time donation, anything and everything you contribute will help me because groceries are expensive, as is the amount of ordnance necessary to wipe out a charger. Seriously, have you tried fighting a charger? Those things suck. Point is, anything and everything you can do, I would be immensely appreciative. As would Super Earth, as would the Ministry of Truth. And judging by the gentleman who just tapped me on the arm, I'm being informed my time's up. So, thank you again for listening. Make sure the fight for liberty marches on. And hey, go play some video games.